Hey everyone, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we're going to take a look at the 2020 Subaru Ascent. This is the touring model, so it's the top trim of Subaru's top car, the 3-row, large and in charge Subaru Ascent. This is kind of a try number 2 for Subaru on 3-row SUVs. They had their Tribeca back in the 2000s that did okay, but wasn't super well received, especially the first generation, and kind of went by the wayside. And lately, automakers have been making so much money with 3-row SUVs and mid to large crossovers that Subaru wanted back in. So here they are with the Ascent. This is going to compete with cars like the Toyota Highlander, Chevy Traverse. Ford doesn't exactly have a direct competitor, but it's sort of larger than the Edge, but smaller than the Explorer. Probably won't be long before Ford has something like that. So anyway, let's go around, take a look at it, take it for a drive, talk about some of its merits, some demerits, and give you my impressions. So, comes standard with, no, it doesn't come standard with this. What it does come standard with is some underfloor storage here. And, this is kind of nifty. It actually has a little storage spot for this cover. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these covers. They're supposed to go in, they go up there, and then they extend, and then you can bring them back and they cover up what you've got in your cargo compartment. If you're hiding something valuable, or you got dead bodies in there that you don't want the sheriff to see, you can use that cover for it. But I think it's always just kind of in the way, kind of a pain. So if you're using the 3rd row regularly, you're never gonna have that up. But I do like that Subaru put it in a nice, thoughtful spot here. Also saw that in the Highlander recently. And what do we got here? You got your jack. If you got a flat or need to jack your car up for some reason, you don't have one at home, you got this jack here. Now, how does this close back up? There we go. So I'm kind of a little bit flimsy. Kind of a pain here. I will admit, sometimes these press vehicles get a little beat on, but there we go. That back in here. What do you got in here? More tools. Why does this just kind of rest on there? Anyway. And then more tools. So many tools. Gosh. Anyway, you got some storage down there. I know some people appreciate having these hooks here, so you can sort of latch some things down or get a cargo cover or something like that. We've also got some grocery bag hooks here, so that's nice to see. Keeps things from flying around. The seats are super easy to operate in the Ascent. In fact, a lot of things are pretty easy in the Ascent. The load floor, very flat, medium height or so for vehicles in this class, but the seats, pull this, keep pulling it, and down they go. You got this little bit of carpet here to sort of facilitate that flat load floor and keep things from falling in the abyss here. Then you can sort of grab these and pull up. It's a little bit harder to pull than some other vehicles in this class, but you can get used to it. And then you got 2 buttons up here. This one to just close the lift gate. This one to lock the car afterward. So if you were like taking your groceries out and then going inside, you press that button to lock it. Let's check out 3rd row. Super easy to move the seat back. I'm glad that Subaru didn't screw with any powered seats or anything like that. They just made a very easy mechanism. One and done. Ugh. So the back of the Ascent is not exactly an adult-friendly place to be. A little more for the chillins, but you can make it work. You can sit back here. You've got this little handle, I guess, which is kind of nice. But then you've got some cup holders, although they are hard plastic, nothing grippy there. We have power ports back here. What is this? It's not a power port. So, unless I'm missing something. Oh, I am. See? Good thing I looked around. There's 2.1 amp USB ports on this side, but nothing over here. So, you're going to want to put your connected children over there, disconnected children over here. The ones reading the books, the ones that are going to get smart. And you've got 3rd row seat, so you can technically fit 3 people back here. Now, this is a question I have. and maybe someone in the comments can answer for me. But when I was reviewing the Highlander, which we also have this week, it dawned on me. The safest place for a child, especially in a rear-facing car seat, is in the middle of the vehicle. Where do you put a rear-facing car seat when you only have one kid and one passenger? If it's just the driver, two people in the front, two adults, where do you put the baby seat in a car with captain's chairs here? Do you put it right here in the third row, or do you put it in one of the captain's chairs? The captain's chairs would obviously be easier. I don't even think this has a latch anchor. Nope, it doesn't. So you couldn't put it here, so you got to put it on one of the outboard parts of the vehicle. So if anyone in the comments is a parent or something like that and can tell me where you put your rear-facing child seats if you have bucket or captain's chairs like this. So that slides back super easy, and then you can pop up here in the second row. Close this door. All the materials in the Ascent are really nice. They're a little bit of kind of the chunky, off-roady, ruggedy sort of feel. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I know a lot of people do like it. So you've got the nice leather, and then all the buttons and switches and handles are very solid, firm, clicky, good to touch. So I guess good on them for that, if that's what you're into. You got some cup holders back here. I like, even though these are kind of flimsy, I like that they tuck them up here rather than having them in the middle, because unlike the Highlander that has cup holders right here, this is just a big open spot. So you can put bags, you can put a cooler, you can put, I don't know, the baby. Lots of stuff there. It's nice to see. You do have a 120 volt outlet here, like you would see in the house. However, it's only 100 watts. And I know there are a lot of devices, even just laptop chargers, that can exceed 100 watts. So it's kind of unfortunate to see this kind of a weak sauce charger. But you've also got climate controls back here, heated seats for the third row, as well as two more 2.1 amp USB ports, so you are going to get a lot of juice out of those. Some cup holders right here, and a little bit more storage. Panoramic sunroof in this. We'll open it up when we're in the front, but that goes all the way back to here, so I'm sure some of the kids will like that. All right. Oh, one more thing. You've also got these privacy screens, or if the baby's riding back here, you keep the sun off them, but they're so much more difficult than some of the competitions. Now, to be fair, I suppose if you owned it, you kind of get used to pulling it back up, but a lot of the competition just has two little hooks right here, and you kind of just bloop, open it up. And I'm not the only one who was riding in this who commented it's kind of difficult to get these in and out. But it's there nonetheless. On to the front. Wait a minute. What was this? What is this? What does this do? Why is this here? Oh, wait. Can this go... I'm very confused right now. I see a lever, and I want to know what it does. Is it this? It's this, isn't it? Okay, so if you want this seat to go flat, then you do that. And then does it actually come out, too? I don't think so. I'm learning here, folks. All right, into the front. So I like this dark leather that Subaru went with. I think it looks mature, kind of ruggedish, especially looking at the floor mats down there. This car actually has a decent amount of miles on it, and it still looks pretty good. Very simple seat controls. You've just got your front, back, up, down, recline, and then two-way lumbar support. However, you do have thigh cushion support extension. So that's nice to see at this price point. Even though it is manual, it still works well. The ruggediness, chunkiness continues up here. All the buttons on the steering wheel are very chunky, easy to use, but not exactly luxurious feeling. Nice padding where all your elbows go. Although this is a bit, well, it's softer back here than it is up here. So if you got longer arms, it'll be more comfortable. If you're up a little further, your elbows might get sore. Steering wheel telescopes and goes up and down. Pretty good amounts of adjustment. Shifter, it's a standard style shifter, but it is pretty down low and out of the way, so it's not too bad. Not taking up a bunch of space. No other big surprises up here. So let's get it out on the road. Talk about the way the Ascent drives. You're dealing with, for those of you who care, a 2.4 liter flat 4 turbocharged motor paired up to a continuously variable transmission. For those of you who don't care, all it means is you've got enough power for 5,000 pound tow rating and a transmission that is not particularly smooth. Don't get me wrong, some manufacturers can do what they call a CVT transmission very well, but Subaru doesn't seem to be one of them. And partially to their credit, it is a bit tougher for manufacturers to get turbocharged motors and CVTs to pair up well. It's impressive when you don't get any sort of weird surges or groany sounds. And the worst offender is Infiniti with their new variable compression turbo along with a continuously variable transmission. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent. What you need to know is the Subaru is easy to speed in, apparently. No, it is. It is actually easy to speed in because sometimes you'll get on the gas and you'll get up to speed and then you don't really... There's not... It's not very linear. This is going to be tough to communicate to you guys. This is what we'll do. I'm going to pull out here. I'm going to take a left. So once the light turns green, I'm going to just ease on the throttle and we're going to see how the engine reacts. I'm going to try to make it as smooth as possible. Don't worry. Here we go. All right, so right there, I got on the throttle and then didn't change how hard I was pushing on the throttle at all. And you notice it like petered out. It got up to like 2,000 RPM and it seemed like it was just going to get up and get going smoothly. And then it died out. And I was only going like 21 miles per hour. So I had to push on the gas harder and then got up to speed. It seems like no matter where you put your foot in the accelerator, it doesn't result in smooth, continuous acceleration. There's definitely not an issue with power. There's plenty of power in the Ascent. It gets up and goes when you need it to. I know people who have towed with it, and if you're towing a lot of weight, the transmission's got to spin up pretty fast for a while, but it'll certainly do it. The power's there. It's just not a very smooth experience. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we get driving, but other than that, it's comfortable up here. It actually feels a bit more like a large wagon, kind of almost like a Subaru Outback on steroids, than it does feel like some of its other large three-row competition. The Highlander definitely drives larger, the Traverse drives larger. They just feel a little bit more bulky and tank-like, whereas this feels a little bit more svelte, a little bit more agile, just a little bit more car-like, and part of that's just sort of the way the cabin slopes around you. But another part of that is steering and tuning and kind of where the weight's held in the car. It's not exactly sporty, but it has a little bit more of a liveliness to it rather than a chunkiness that some of the other three rows have. So that was a little bit better, but there was that big surge right there at the beginning, and then, even though I didn't really change where my foot was, the revs came back down and accelerated more smoothly. What else do you have in the Sub? The map works really well. Everything about the infotainment works well. It's not my favorite infotainment system, but it's more of a personal preference thing. From an objective standpoint, everything works really well. It's responsive. There's not much of a learning curve. It presents you with all the info you need to know. I do think it's a tad info overload when you factor in that top screen up there, because you can cycle through different information. But on the flip side, it is kind of nice to be able to say, like, have your fuel economy info up there, or your navigation info, or your media, and then have a different screen here, and then you can have even more data up on your center display, talking about fuel economy or off-road statistics, that sort of deal. Oh, let's make this light. A little bit of hustle. See, this I've actually kind of grown accustomed to the steering here in the Ascent. It's very light compared to its competition. I mean, if you kind of look here, it's just, I'll do pinkies. That's not a lot of pressure, and I'm throwing the wheel back and forth. It doesn't take much to turn the Ascent. And for most driving, I like that. On the highway, it feels a little weird. I wish it would firm itself up a little bit, because it just feels like it's kind of wandering back and forth because there's so much play right here and it's so light. But overall, steering's pretty good. Steering wheel's kind of small too, and I think I like that. Another thing I appreciate about the Ascent is the climate control is very super straightforward, easy to use. Nothing's hidden into the menus. You've got your sync, you've got on and off, you've got temperature for both sides, fan control. And when you turn it on here, let's see, fan up to 1. You've got your temps, very easy to read, your fan, and then also where everything is shown on this small screen here, kind of where the air is blowing, what the settings are and stuff, and then you can blip it off real quick and easy. So that's nice. You also have your heated seat controls and your cooled seat controls. Everything's right there, easy to use buttons, straightforward, good on Subaru for not hiding it in the infotainment screen. Let's get up to highway speeds here. Full throttle right now just to get up and ahead of this semi-truck. It does quite well. Gets right up to speed. It's got very easy to use cruise control. Just press this button, press down, and then all of a sudden you're cruise controlling. However, and I know a lot of reviewers get into all the safety nannies on the Subaru, and so I've got to mention it. You've got all sorts of different safety features, and most of them are good. Don't get me wrong. I like having safety features in vehicles, so that's not what I'm saying here. What I am saying is the way Subaru goes about it is a little strange. So lane departure warning, whenever you get close to the edge of a lane, it'll kind of help steer you for a minute, but then if you push it out, it shows you lights up on the dash, lights up on the gauge cluster, and alerts you audibly. So I guess that's good, because if you were kind of sleepy on the wheel or whatever, you'd want it to wake you up, or you'd want it to yell at you if you're getting distracted. You do have blind spot monitoring, you can see just popped on there. And then the adaptive cruise control, I'm going to let this truck actually go by me. And then, so it gets up to speed pretty decently, doesn't have to rev up super high. The one other weird thing, though, is whenever you're following a car and the adaptive cruise control is engaged, there's that green light on in front of me. So you see it just went off, now it's back on. And not only that, but it beeps every time it engages or disengages. So you'll see right now it's on, and we're following this truck. I'm going to go into the left lane, and it beeped, and now it's gone. Next time I get a chance to pull out behind somebody again, to get back behind someone, you'll see the light will come on and it'll beep again. It's a subtle beep, but why does it even have to happen in the first place? I will admit I haven't hunted around to see if there's a setting somewhere to change that, but I feel like you shouldn't have to. That just shouldn't exist. The audio system is let's see if I can remember the wattage. I think it's 792 watt, 14 speaker Harman Kardon audio system. But unfortunately, the sound quality doesn't quite live up to the speakers and wattage measurements or the Harman Kardon name. If you want to see more on that, we've got a sound system review. When that's posted, the link will be up in the description of this video, so feel free to check that out and get an in-depth review on the sound system. But the gist of it is I was expecting more. Other features the Ascent has. This is kind of cool. You flip this here, and you've got a screen for your rearview mirror. Now, a lot of manufacturers are doing that these days, and this one works fine. You can adjust the settings here. You can adjust the brightness. What else? Up and down, forward, back, kind of how far it's zoomed in. Make some tweaks to the camera there. I'm still not a huge fan of these. I don't know if I ever will be, unless they can sort of make it so my eyes don't have to focus in a different way. Because your eyes are focused, looking forward, normal world or whatever. And then when it's off, they kind of remain in a similar sort of focus to view behind you in the mirror. But when you've got the screen, they have to completely refocus. So it's like a near focus and then a far focus. Chevy's been doing it for a little while. Toyota has it now. There are a few other manufacturers with this mirror. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't really know anyone who is. But it is there. Let's see if we can get another smooth acceleration attempt, or an attempt for me to show you kind of the weirdness of this transmission. You also have manual shift modes, which is weird and unnecessary in a car like this. So I find myself having to push into the throttle more. It's like way too strong initially, and then it backs off, and I have to push on the gas more. It's just, I've spent a lot of time in an Ascent. Oh, that would have been about a 2018 or 2019 Ascent. A lot of highway driving, a lot of city driving with multiple passengers, and it just never really grew on me. And even still, it's just kind of weird and not as smooth as a lot of the other cars. The Ascent does have a really nice ride. It's easy to drive, it's comfortable. Like I said, you got that thigh adjustment here in the seat, so you can really settle yourself in for a lot of different size drivers. You've got a heated steering wheel, pretty much all the standard amenities for something in this class. And the price is competitive, and I think there are a lot of people who kind of want that more ruggedy sort of feel, mild off-road chops, but it's not all about like super off-roading and ground clearance and everything. For a lot of people, it's just about driving on dirt roads regularly, or driving in snow regularly, or maybe going on camping trips and just kind of having that ruggedness ability to not feel as bad for getting your car hit with little rocks and gravel and that sort of deal. So even though I'm not a huge fan of sort of that type of vehicle, I'd rather have a wagon or a truck or something like that, I totally get how people would be interested in a car like this Ascent, especially as their family continues to grow and they need that extra space. Just know that the trade-off that you're making is a car that's not as smooth to drive as some of its competition. But you've got a lot of safety, you've got a lot of capability, and for some people, that's all they want. That's all they need. All right, so I hope you guys were able to get a good impression for the Subaru Ascent. I'm gonna park it here and hop out, take one more look at it. Little rear seat reminder, so that's nice in case you had your baby back there sleeping, or just something that you put in the back that you need to grab. Wouldn't want to leave it in a hot car. So the best news about the Ascent is that if you're into it, if you like the looks, or you like the Subaru sort of ethos, or if you've had Subarus before and you want to keep it in the family, it's a good car. Definitely solid, definitely something you can go with. You're definitely not going to go wrong with buying this car. However, if you're looking for something a little sportier, something a little smoother to drive, a little bit more luxurious feeling, or with a better sound system, you're going to have other options, and there are other things you should look at. I, for one, am a huge fan of Hyundai and Kia's new Palisade and Telluride. I think those come in at an awesome price. They've got a wonderful 10-year powertrain warranty and a 5-year comprehensive warranty. They're super nice inside. They're really great to drive, very smooth, refined engines, just as efficient as this and just as much towing capability as this. So that's definitely where my money would be going in the class. And if you needed a little bit more space, I'd be hopping up to one of the big 3 rows. You've got Chevy out with their new Tahoe and Suburban. Ford's Explorer it's okay. But the Expedition's pretty good if you need a lot of towing and you don't really care much about fuel economy and you want that big size. But anyway, the Subaru is a good choice if you're into it. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Check out some of our other videos. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and we'll see you on the next one. Drive on.